Hey, welcome back to the Motorcyclist Podcast. This is where we talk about motorcycles and what makes them great. Topics on the show constantly change, but the one thing that always remains is two-wheeled fun. We've got editor Adam Wahid. We've got photo director Jeff Allen, who's back from a long vacation / work trip.
Yeah, good to be back. No, I'm just kidding. I'd rather still be riding the Alps.
Riding the Alps in Italy. Yeah, and then you got me, executive editor Justin Dawes. Today we are going to talk about Suzuki's V-Strom 800. There's a bunch of different variants, but they all are powered by the same 776 parallel twin. It's a midsize ADV bike, and this latest version of the 800 was introduced in 2023. So fairly new. It's only been out for a couple years. And it's starting to become more popular, and you're starting to see them a lot more than you did in the first year. So there's 4 variants of the thing. There's the DE, which is the, the dirt enduro or dirt, it's like a 50-50 bike as it comes. You've got the DE Adventure, which has like a bigger screen and some crash bars and some panniers and that kind of stuff. You've got a Touring, which has cast wheels. And then you have a base model, which also has cast wheels. So all of us have some experience with these bikes, but we're probably going to talk mostly about the DE, but most of the attributes that we're going to talk about this bike cross over to the other motorcycles. I think Adam's ridden some other variants as well. So before we get into that, we have to get into the details of the bike, and I'll be quick about it. I don't want to lose you, but like I said, 776 parallel twin dual overhead cam, liquid cooled, makes 72.2 horsepower on our dyno, 50.2 pound-feet of torque. As it sits stock, it weighs 507 pounds. It's fitted with a Showa fork and a Showa shock. The rear shock has no compression adjustment, but the rest of it is fully adjustable, and it's got 8.7 inches of travel. So it's not a short travel bike, but it's also not a long travel bike. It's kind of in that normal sweet spot where the bike's not too tall, too jacked up, but it also has enough travel to have some fun on. Seat height, 33.7 inches. Wheels are 2118 spoked on the DE models, and the Touring and base, of course, have cast aluminum wheels. It's got a TFT dash on it. It's got TC. It's got 4 modes, basically. 1, 2, 3, and a gravel mode, and you can turn it off. So really 5 modes. ABS is switchable to turn off the ABS on the rear. It's got Suzuki drive mode selector, which has been on Suzuki's forever at this point, which is their ride mode. And it's basically A, B, and C, which is mainly throttle response, and some power tailoring, but it's very kind of simple, but it works. Pricing on it is $11,709 for the DE. The Adventure model is the Touring is $13,159. Sorry, the Adventure model. Sorry, the Adventure model is $13,159. The Touring model is $10,499, and the base model starts at $10,109. So those are the facts on the bike. So let's talk about it.
So, since you just mentioned it, what's the difference between the base and the Touring? Is it
base
just
Touring? It's bags and stuff like that, and
okay.
Windscreen.
I don't have much.
It's
time on the Touring.
It's fit for some other stuff. Adam, you've ridden the Touring?
Yeah, I've ridden the Touring bike. It's really nice.
Yeah, so we can talk about that when we get into riding impressions. But it's basically just like a more comfy base model. I mean, it's
all right. I have one more question since we just talked. What's the difference between the DE and the Adventure?
Kind of the same thing that from the base to the Touring. You're talking about some bags, bigger windscreens, that kind of stuff. So it kind of takes that. I guess BMW kind of started it with having an Adventure model that has more stuff added.
So the Adventures and the Touring are sort of the accessories you would likely choose anyways, and it just comes as a trim level.
Very much so. Yep, exactly. That's the best way to put it. It's the kind of the stuff you would automatically buy if you were wanting to do longer distance riding on both of them. So V-Strom's been around for quite a while. The first V-Strom was the 1000 V-Strom in 2001. So we're going on 24 years of V-Stromage.
God, that's crazy. That's so. It doesn't seem like that long ago I rode that first V-Strom 1000.
Yeah, and man, it looked like basically a street bike on stilts. Like the front of it was like all swoopy, like a sport bike, and it had these big, huge headlights. And
and it had at the time what we thought was just the dumbest name.
Yeah,
like what is
V-Strom? What does it mean? Yeah.
I'll say that original one is the bike that changed my opinion about the looks of bikes, because it was not very. I mean, now it's pretty common to have that sort of beak look, but that was the bike. I was like, I didn't think it looked good until I rode it. I was like, I love this bike, and it actually, I do like the way it looks. It changed. I didn't have to love the way it looks in the beginning. Yeah,
you didn't have to look at it if you're sitting behind the bars, anyways,
because it was nice.
Yeah. So then in 2004, the V-Strom 650 came out. And that was the basically the engine that you found in other 650 V twins of Suzuki's. So that was a very popular bike, still is, but it hasn't changed actually. So I think since I want to say it's got to be 10 years unchanged, maybe. I'm not sure, but it still sells, and it's still people are into it. And then 2023. The 800 DE came out, and that was a big deal for Suzuki. One, all new power plant. So parallel twin, 776 cc's, like we said, but it was a unit construction, or I should say an engine that's used for many other models. So it's in the 8 GSX-S models, the 8S, the 8R, now going to be the 8T and 8TT, as well as all the V-Strom models. So they're using it in I think it's almost 8 or 9 models at this point that bike is that bike is, or that engine's used in. And it's a super awesome engine. We'll talk about it here in a second. So with that, that the V-Strom kicked off the introduction of that engine and of a whole new mid-sized Suzuki adventure motorcycle. But it takes cues from, or I should say styling cues from what could be the granddaddy of V-Stroms, and that's the DR Big. That was built in 1988 750 single. It was one of the first adventure motorcycles with a beak, with a front fender that came out, and stuck out, that almost everyone's running a beak style front now. Like Ténéré is not, but BMW, Suzuki, I expect KTM, they're all
Ducati.
They're all running some sort of beakish setup. So it all goes back to DR Big. So especially the 800 and the 1000 have you can see a direct line from the DR Big to those V-Stroms and styling, and I dig it. It really has a throwback to Dakar style,
Now, like any bike, it's like, if it doesn't have the beak, is it really an adventure bike?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No beak, no go. So anyway, that's kind of a quick history lesson. Not much else to say about the history of it besides 25 years going on 24 going on 25 years of V-Strom, and they're still doing it. So,
in my opinion, the 800 was sort of the first thing that Suzuki showed. It sort of brought them out of some dark times,
Mm-hmm.
That was the first light that things were going to get better.
Yeah, very much so. They had that push in 2022. They started showing off some new stuff, and that was one of them. They showed off the engine in 2022, and you're like, oh, definitely this is going in probably a naked bike, probably a little sport bike, and definitely an adventure bike. And then, they showed it off, and it's like, oh, okay, Suzuki's back, So that same time frame was when they redid the Hayabusa as well. So, they kind of had a little bit of a boost in 2022, 2023. So, let's talk about riding impressions. You know what? I was going to go first, but I'm going to let Jeff and Adam go first, and then I'll talk about my thoughts, because I've been talking and yapping, and we don't want to make this a 30-minute monologue on Suzuki.
Yeah, Adam, did you go on the original press launch
For the V-Strom?
for the 800?
No. I've only ridden the 800 touring bike. So I rode that to Laguna Seca to WeatherTech Raceway last summer. Yeah, it's an awesome bike, dude. Like crazy. Like it's one of those understated motorcycles in Suzuki's, 2024 at the time and now 2025 model lineup. They're awesome. Have you ridden one?
I've not ridden the touring, but I have ridden the DE, and
Okay.
yeah, I think it's a very nice motorcycle. It's sort of like the DRZ, the 4S, where it sits in a different place. It's not quite all street bike. It's not quite all dirt bike or dirt adventure bike. And they've sit in a pretty nice spot, and it does a lot of things well, in that spot. I kind of think of it as like the 4S.
Yeah, I just love that touring variation. It's just like, it's insanely comfortable. It's got great range. It gets decent gas mileage. The engine just chugs around everywhere. I mean, honestly, just the level of comfort it has is just like, for $10,500, you get a bike that's that comfortable. It's pretty crazy,
Yeah. It's the bike is definitely comfortable, and it kind of like splits the difference between like the KTMs that are like super hardcore dirt, and then maybe something that's very street focused, like a V-Strom 650 or even a V-Strom 1000 in a way, like
or a Versus,
or
that
Versus,
yeah,
like a Versus 650. Like it kind of splits the. It's kind of where BMW's F850 used to be. Like if you ride a BMW F850 and this bike back to back, there's a lot of similar feel to them. They're not super sharp edged. They're not super hardcore, but they get everything done, and they can do it with pretty good comfort, So, the suspension is pretty decent. It's adjustable. You can do stuff with it. You can tighten it up. You can, stiffen it up. You can make it softer if you need be. So, but it does, I feel like when they were starting that project, they were looking at bikes like the F850, and then the whole segment kind of moved another step up, and they came out with the V-Strom at the time when everyone else had made another step. And so it's like a half step behind to me in some regards. You know what I mean?
But it has for what it is, it has a sweet MSRP, like $10,000
really
bucks.
does.
Yeah, for what that
really
is.
does. Yeah, I mean, it's got a nice MSRP, and it has, I keep saying this, the best parallel twin ever.
Yeah, it's got a really nice motor, and I feel like the aftermarket has embraced it. So if you do buy one, there are some options out there.
Yeah, there are some options. There's all kinds of stuff now popping off for it. When we first got our hands on one, that wasn't the case, but now, the one we got our hands on? Are you talking about your DR Big? Yeah, 2.0. I would say, okay, so that bike, the V-Strom 800 is, like I said, it's like a half step behind until you start modifying it, and then it comes alive, and it can be really, really good. And we built a rally race bike out of one where we stripped it down and pulled a lot of weight out of it. We removed the ABS. We got rid of all the ride modes, all that stuff, because it was a race bike. And when it was done, it weighed 470 pounds. So we took like 35 pounds off of the bike, and it totally transformed it. We added long travel suspension, had a special shock and all that stuff made. But I think if you pulled off all the racks and you pulled off the passenger pegs, and you did a little weight reduction on the exhaust and that stuff, and then you just got a drop-in kit for the forks and maybe a new rear shock, the thing becomes epic. Yeah. It really wakes it up quick.
Yeah, I got to spend a little bit of time on your bike, your race bike, and I was really impressed. That thing was really, really nice. In fact, we even let some of the Suzuki guys ride it, and they were pretty impressed.
Yeah, they were really impressed that we let those guys ride it, and they were like, "Oh, we got to build one of these. We got to get them to build it." But that probably won't ever happen. But it's good to dream,
No.
But if you want to build your own, you can go mild to wild, and it really does make a difference. It wakes up a lot when you change the exhaust and you get rid of the snorkels and the airbox cover and put a different air filter on it. Without even remapping it, it gets really snappier and even torqueier than it was stock, which I think it's one of the best torque deliveries from a stalker. And then you do that, and it really wakes it up.
Yeah, it's grunty.
It's very
sounds
grunty.
cool too.
Your race bike sounds amazing. That thing sounds good.
Yeah, I think we got like 750,000 views just on me revving the bike on Instagram.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, but I think it's a great chassis. I think it overall it especially for the price, the DE, like I said, it's 11 grand, 11.8. But I've been seeing 2024 models like on the dealer floor. You can get them for like 8,500, 9 grand. If a dealer's desperate to move one, and if you can find one at that price, then you've got a smoking deal. You got a really good smoking deal. Like the competition. We should talk about the competition a little bit. You've got like the Ténéré 700. Obviously, it's a parallel twin. Most of the bikes actually in the midsize are parallel twins. Almost all of them are 270-degree cranks. So you got the Ténéré 700. That's 11 grand, $1 short of 11 grand. But it doesn't have as much. It's getting close now. I mean, it's
they added some
closer.
features.
They added some features. They have some throttle map or ride mode type of setups, and you can have the button for ABS now. So it's more similar than it was. So I think that's its closest comparison out of anything. And we went and rode them in Colorado, the Ténéré and the V-Strom and a Touareg one time. And they kind of excelled at different things. And when it was at the end of the day, it was really hard to decide out of those two bikes, which one was better.
Yeah.
Because one was better on the road, one was better in the single track, one was better in the rocks, one was better in the sand. It just swapped back and forth on which one was better. So I think that obviously is his closest competition. Then you've got the F900 GS, obviously quite a bit more expensive. Base is, you can never find a base model BMW.
Yeah.
So most commonly, but base is 14,275, but most commonly you'll find them outfitted at about 18K to start.
Yeah. Wow. That's a huge difference.
That's a huge difference. I mean, that's $7 grand more for the F900 GS, and the F900 GS really stepped up its game from the 850. Totally different bike, much more hardcore than it used to be. But I don't know if I could spend $7K more.
I think that's different. I think someone looking at that is thinking at it like an option for the R1250 or R1300. They're thinking, I don't want to spend that much, and they.
Yeah. Then of course you got the KTM 890 Adventure. That is 15,799. And that one's done to the nines in terms of off-road capability.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's an interesting one, the Cove 800 Pro. We rode that last November a little bit. It's 10,999. And it's a pretty interesting bike. I don't know if I'd want to be an early adopter, but overall it rode pretty well.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I don't know if I'd be an early adopter on that. And just like to see how things shake out.
Yep, very much so. So I don't know. There's a lot of competition in that space. It's very competitive, and there's a lot of different ways the companies go about building their midsize ADV. Everything from, super hardcore like KTM's 890 Adventure R to, like we said, like maybe a Versus 650. Like there's a big swath in there, and I think that they were smart in that they kind of aimed right for the middle with the V-Strom.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
that's a good spot for them. It's a nice
yeah. I know. I think it looks cool. I think it's one of the better looking bikes,
especially in the yellow, like you were saying with
the
the Camel Racing DR Big esque looking colorway. That thing looks really good.
Yeah, it does look really good. I like the blue and the yellow one a lot. But I think just the overall shape, like that front beak is really cool. The windscreen, the front end, the 2 stacked lights, all of it looks great. It really does.
The gold wheels.
Yeah, it really doesn't have too bad a bad angle looking at the thing, and that's good to know. I mean, like when you buy a bike, you want one that's good looking, right? You want to go in your garage and look at it and be like, yeah, that's cool, So,
it looks a heck of a lot better than the original ones.
Yes, it does.
Don't talk badly about that. I ended up loving the way that thing looked just because it was such a great motorcycle. I put a lot. We had a long-term one, and I put a lot of miles on that thing.
Wow. Yeah, I see one every once in a while, and I'm like, oh God. But then I'm like, yeah, that guy's enjoying it. Like the guy, whoever owns that bike loves that bike as it is right now, 20 years old. You know what I mean? So you can't hate on that. So,
well, it's a great motor too. It wasn't a parallel twin, but that was a great motor.
So, yeah. Mm-hmm. So here's a question. Would it be on your guys' list for a midsize ADV? Say you were going shopping right now, because people always ask that, like, if you're going shopping, what would you buy? So if you were going shopping and you had a midsize ADV in mind, would it be on your list? Would you shop it?
I would. I would. It would for me, because of the price. It would be between the Ténéré and the Suzuki. I would just have to decide for myself if I'm looking at like lots of miles or dirt miles. The Ténéré is great, but if you were really gonna, do big long trips with lots of, not necessarily even highway miles, but just faster back roads, it would definitely be on my list.
Yeah, I would buy that V-Strom 800 touring bike. I'm sure you can get those probably for a really good deal, but I wouldn't really buy it necessarily as an adventure touring bike. I'd buy it as a street bike, just a versatile street bike that, you can do a little bit of dirt biking on it if you wanted, but mainly just for street biking, just because it's comfortable and good suspension, just big gas tank.
Yeah, right on. I think I would consider it. I don't know if it would be my choice, and it's because I'm trying to remove bias, because my race bike I love, and it's the greatest adventure bike ever built. Like, that thing is so sick, and so I know what you can do with one. But I always go like, I could probably do the same with a Ténéré. I could maybe do the same with a BMW. And once you spend all that money, it's like, okay, then I'm in the KTM BMW price range. So which do I do? But I think if I was just going to leave it stock, it would be a really tough choice, like I said, between the Ténéré and that bike for sure. I think I would go with what dealer gave me a better deal, to be honest.
For sure. The price plays a part. So
yeah. But if I was going to go hog wild, like I often do with my bikes, I would absolutely buy it, because I know what it can do, and it's insane how much that bike can be woken up. So
yeah, well, it's hard nowadays, like to narrow down what it is you would actually spend your own money on, because there's a lot of good motorcycles, especially in ADV and mid ADVs, when you decide, do I want more power or do I want less weight?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm coming from the angle, I owned a KTM 790 that was done to the nines, Like it had everything done to it, WP suspension, all that stuff. And I still say that my V-Strom is better than that KTM was.
Really?
Yeah.
The V-Strom's nice.
The V-Strom is better than that KTM was once they were both done as far as you could push them. The V-Strom actually is better than that KTM.
Wow. That's something to be said.
Mm-hmm. There's so much potential in that bike. It's crazy. So, and there's people that are untapping that potential right now, like Stefan Hessler, who helped me a lot with the build on my bike when we did the rally bike. He's got all kinds of stuff for that bike, and he's constantly finding new ways to make it lighter, make it faster, make it better. He's got like a super awesome front end on the thing now with, it looks like even more like an old DR Big. It's got the same windshield shape, and it's got, a rally tower built into it. He's got steering stabilizers. He's got chain guides. He's got, all this stuff. So there's people really doing it right now, and people are starting to race them too. Like there was one in Africa Eco Race. There was one, I think there was one at Romaniacs this year.
Oh, was there really? Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Because they added an adventure or twins class or something.
Two of them. They had Ultimate Adventure and then the silver class for adventures.
Yeah. Oh, I did not know there was a V-Strom there.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Obviously, I saw Poltaris on his Ténéré, but
yeah, and Sam Sunderland won on a Triumph Tiger.
Oh wow!
Yeah, pretty crazy. So. But it just goes to show those bikes are very capable if you're willing to put up with the weight. They don't replace a dirt bike, but they can stand in when needed. So I don't know. I really like the bike. I think it is a very smart buy for people, and I think that's the strong point of that bike is they really made it attractive to all types of adventure bike riders as it sits stock. So,
yeah,
I don't know. What do you guys think? Any other thing we need to add about this bike or talk about?
The good and the bad?
Time to be an ADV rider.
It is a good time to be an ADV rider.
Yeah,
it's been a good time for the last probably 3-4 years.
It's a good time to be a motorcyclist in general, but yeah.
It's always a good time to be a motorcyclist.
Yeah. I mean, just options galore.
Yeah, options galore for sure.
Just good, a lot of good motorcycles.
Yeah. So if you had one criticism of that bike, what would it be?
Well, this is my criticism of every ADV that doesn't have these things. I think every adventure bike should come standard with a center stand and heated grips. Those are things you just shouldn't have to add to it. So, heated grips, like adventure bikes, not the goal, but you set out to put in long miles, go to elevation, longer days, get up early, all this stuff. Heated grips is it's just basic for me. And then also I've ridden adventure bikes solo off-road and, in sort of remote places and without a center stand. And it makes me really nervous to figure out how I'm going to, fix a flat if I have to.
Mm-hmm.
So
plug kit, man. But sometimes the plug kit doesn't do it. You got to get it too.
And they're not all tubeless either.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. What about you, Adam? What's your main criticism? Because we've been singing the praises. We got to be balanced here and say what we don't like as well.
I'll take Jeff's heated grips and then Ray's cruise control. They're both accessories, but all bikes should have heated grips and cruise control. I totally agree.
Yeah. I love the cruise control for avoiding speeding tickets when you're rolling through the small towns.
Yeah, I agree. Cruise control comes in handy in that environment for sure, where you just want to not deal with any problems.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I will build on that and say that my main criticism is that the electronics are maybe a little bit dated. They're very simple. And maybe for some people, that's what they want. They want just like simple, like, you don't want to have 12 layers of traction control, slip control, and engine braking changes and all that stuff. And that's cool. But I think at the same time, it's missing. It's such a simple system, which it makes it really easy to adjust. Like you just go, I want traction control 1, 2, 3, or gravel, or off, and then I want A, B, or C power, and A is the most aggressive, B is chill, and C is for like rain. So, I mean, it's very simple, but at the same time, it's not flashy, and it is nice to have the 12 levels of traction control, like on the KTM, where you can be riding the thing and you can dial in the slip in rally mode while you're riding. You go, oh, here it's nice and tacky. I can make it a 1, and oh, it's getting loose and skatey. I'll back it down to a 5 while you're moving. That's pretty rad.
That's pretty rad, but there is something to be said about simplicity.
Yeah, very much so. But I don't know. It just feels maybe a tiny bit dated compared to other things. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's Ténéré is one of the most popular mid-size adventure motorcycles, and it's very simple as well. So, I'm probably the outlier here on electronics, where people want them simple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but
at least they offer something.
Yeah, at least they offer something. So I think that might be my own criticism, and my other only criticism is the foot pegs. The stock foot pegs are terrible.
Yeah, that's
the rubber on them is very slippy when it gets wet, and then when you take the rubber out, they're still not very big. They're not small, but they're not very supportive. And after a day of standing up, your feet start to hurt.
Yeah, they're not very sharp either.
No, they're not very sharp. So
yeah, for grip.
Those are my complaints. Other than that, like, if I could take that engine and put it maybe in another frame, it would be the ultimate bike. But that engine is 70% of the reason I would buy that bike, because it is so dang good. I love that engine to the moon.
To the moon.
To the moon. So I think we got to wrap it up. We've hit time. So takeaways from this one: the V-Strom, it's competitive with with all the other mid-sized ADVs. It really hits a sweet spot. It's attractive to a lot of different buyers. It's a good all-rounder, and with some mods, it can be a shredder. So find one on sale, and you're gonna be very, very happy that you got one. You'll have a winner. So with that, thanks for listening. Leave some comments, like, subscribe. Let us know what you think about the V-Strom and what else we should talk about. So thanks for listening. See you next time.